What's cracking, mi gente? You guys already know this. Your boy D once again coming ready to share some love and a little bit of knowledge. I know it's been a minute since I dropped a video, so here I am again. Excuse my environment. I'm in the car. I'm doing a little bit working, but I decided since I had a little break to get some work done and drop a little banger for you guys. As you guys can see on the title already, man. Today we're gonna be talking about my first removal I did in the county jail. You guys might think sometimes those removals are not as vicious as prisons, but sometimes it can get really ugly. It depends on how you get down. But with that being said, man, I hope you like it, this video, and we're gonna keep pushing, man. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Share the video with your loved ones or everybody around you, so we can keep this channel going, man. Let's get it. So, when I landed from Juvenile Hall County Jail, I don't have to speak much about how my criminal process, or the steps that land me in prison. So, when I first got my case, I was a youngster. I was really 17 years old, basically. I got caught in an indictment that the federal government had brought into my neighborhood. I was a minor when I got my case, so I went to juvenile first for a year and some change, and then I got transferred to county jail. From county, I went to basically prison. So I haven't been getting into much details. I will get into a lot of details regarding my case. I won't give you specific things, but I will tell you guys how the process was and the fights that I had in juvenile hall, the melees, the riots, all the stuff, the removals. But today I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of county jail, because I think this removal, at least the first one that I did, was kind of a vicious one, but at the same time it was a lesson learned for me on how to deal and maneuver around county jail, and also it started getting me ready to maneuver around prison and politics, and you know what I mean. So let's get into the topic, man. So I landed in the county jail after I turned 18. I got transferred from juvenile hall to county, right? So as I was in county, when I landed there, I landed in a minimum security facility, which back then was in 850 Bryan, was used to call the 6th floor, right? So we got to the 6th floor. Over there in county jail, at least in our county jail, they got us divided by A side and B side. So the A side is where the northerners are at, and the people that doesn't get along with the B side, the blacks. Some of the neighborhoods are divided by projects, as you guys know. Some of the Frisco history. If you're not, I'll get into that. But I was on the B side. The B side was for Southsiders, validated Paisas, which mean border brothers, validated white, skinheads, and everybody from Hunters Point, Oakdale, Crusader, Fillmore, some part of Fillmore, uptown Fillmore, Eddie Rock, and on top of different cities. Then the other A side used to be from Chapa City, Fillmore, and then it used to be from Big Block. The enemies of Sunnydale, Oakdale, all those neighborhoods, all those projects, whatever they have beef with, were on the other side. So were on the B side. 6th floor, we used to have 2 tanks for the homies, I guess. For the B side, it used to be tank 5 and tank 3. When I landed in tank 3, there was no homies there. It's only a Paisa. Well, my homeboy was there, Pony, but he didn't count really that much, because we already had open investigation towards him. So he wasn't in, like, he was good, but he was under investigation type of style. So, but he was an older dude. He didn't really want to get into politics. Well, when I landed tank 3, basically, it landed on my shoulder the responsibility to keep every southerner that came through that tank doing the program that it was established for us. So in tank 5, we had 2 homies from 16th Street. They got at me. Well, we used to go to the gym with the 7th floor, which is the maximum security. We used to go to the gym every Wednesday. So I landed there on a Tuesday. So on a Wednesday morning, we went up to the gym, and my homeboys, a couple homeboys were there, and they were like, "What tank you in?" I'm on tank 3. They explained me, they gave me everything, the whole rundown, how the program should run, how the household should get run, the establishment that I should hold, the bunks and the respect and the lines of communication I need to open with the other races, just in case there was any type of problems that come up, we need to start a dialogue first, and then if that didn't work, then get to violence. At least that's how I was taught. You try to fix the situation by talking and discussing with the races. Don't always try to just jump the gun in. I mean, if it's non-fixable, if the disrespect was like really bad, then you do what you're supposed to do. But the way I was taught was always trying to find a way to resolve things without being violent. Because violence affects money making, and it affects the tanks being by themselves. Because let's say there's a riot in there and it's only 5 sureños and all of us get involved in a riot. Now we can lose that tank, and not by the northerners getting to the tank, because they will never do that. But when there's homies that come there and land in that tank doesn't have no southerner presence there. This doesn't have no facility maintenance, nobody's running the program. We're missing out on money because a lot of people that's coming from the streets, sometimes they come with a bunch of dope. You buy that and make the money off. Mind you, and I say this with all respect, mind you, a lot of homies in the county that have positions, we wasn't in this type of position like Lake County. If dope come through, we needed to sell it, to send it to the big homies, because Frisco County never had an assigned senor for that facility. Even though Freddie from Richmond, RST, was a big homie at that time, he wasn't assigned to a facility. Yeah, we had some communication. Some of us had communication with him before, and some of homeboys used to work in prison. But Frisco County was never under the leadership of the guy that was a big homie. That's not how it worked. But a lot of times when homies would come from prison, they were landing on the 7th floor. They used to work for somebody, so money would stay going to them. But that was the 7th floor. The 6th floor, we didn't run it like that. It was a little different. If we choose to, we could have sent Cariño to the 7th floor. Just like if, let's say, there's a paisa that comes in with a bunch of dope, we buy it off him, and we send some love to the homies up top, either to get high or do whatever they do. That's just our choosing. We don't have to. It's not obligated. But when I landed there, I was the only homie active Southern at that time that was in that tank. Plus my homie Pony, but like I said, he was on disregard due to some investigation. We were dealing with him as a barrio, as a hood, as a neighborhood mess. But he was allowed to program with the homies. He was allowed to be in a tank. But within our hood, we had an investigation that if the investigation would have concluded that he would longer was no good, then we would have removed him as a program. But you guys have to understand, MS-13 can conduct his own investigation. MS-13 can do removals on his own homeboys that doesn't affect the program. We chose to go ahead and deal with it. And that's one another thing. San Francisco County Jail always had that courtesy. If there was, let's say, 7 homies for 19, 6 homies for 16, 3 or 4 homies for 11, which was not that many, and a lot of them fools weren't with the business like that, and you have 8 or 7 homies from MS, and one of our homeboys fucked up, we were the one that would take care. We never allow the homies to put hands on it, and I will tell you guys why. Because we had history with 16 and 19. We used to beef with them, so we didn't want the homies taking that anger on the homies. And plus, it was a courtesy thing. Whenever they homies messed up, we used to go to them and be like, you guys want to handle it? Or you guys, cool, you guys want to stay in program? We can go. It doesn't matter. So it went to proper channels. Well, when I got there, after maybe 2 weeks later, the homie from 16 got there. My homie I'm going to call it because he's still pushing. That's my boy. I got there, and then Little Trucho from 11th Street got there. Mind you, Little Trucho from 11 was a youngster. He was probably like 18 years old, like myself, but he was new to his neighbor. He was like recently jumped in. He was Salvadorian, which was a thing that I didn't understand, but he was from 11th Street. And I said this with all due respect. 11th Street was never a big factor aside from a certain few homies. Now, when 80th Street used to be there, before it became 11, when the homies from 80th Street, Stranger, the Twins, and all them fools used to be there, them fools used to be with the business. I mean, Stranger and his brother were no joke. The 2 Arab homies that they have as well, when they made 80th Street, before it became 11th Street, those fools were no joke. A Stranger from 80th Street is well known around the whole Frisco and in the prison system. That boy was with the business. To my knowledge, still alive. But that boy was the business. That boy was no joke. That fool put Eddie Street on the map. So 11th Street at that time had probably, I want to say, maybe 3 or 4 dudes that were with the business. And the dude that was running the car was Chuco. He became a PC later. He became a rat. Dude wasn't shit, man. Dude was straight BTCIH. That's the word we're going to name. And there was maybe Kid Frost who used to push. Then we had RP Cuba from 11, my good homeboy. That was a good ass, solid homie that passed away recently when I came home. Solid individual. He was with the business. He was an older dude, but he was with the business. And then you have maybe 1 or 2 dudes that were with the business. So when homies get there, we check paperwork. That's off top. We check the paper and everything, right? So it was only me and the homie I and that dude there. A week later, another dude named Chele from 11th Street pulled up. And 2 homies from 19 pulled up. They were youngsters, of course. They were youngsters, but they were homies. So we received them. They landed in a tank. So by that time, it was 2 homies for 19, 2 homies for 11, 1 for 16, and myself. So it was 6, 2, 4, 6, 7 homies, right? Well, word came down that Chele was already have been in the county, but he had rolled it up in San Bruno County. See, when we go to San Francisco County, 850 Brian, sometimes you're there for like a month or so, and then like if you don't have a GD, you don't have a program, and they're trying to find you. At least back then, they used to do all the facility program used to be San Bruno County Jail. That's where all the program was. RSP, Big 5, RSBP. They had a couple programs, and then the schooling. They had the school programs over there where people used to go to school trying to get the GD and everything. And people like myself that had a GED or a high school diploma, they used to send us there to the 7th block over there in San Bruno, keep us there for maybe 3 couple months, and then they would come interview if you want a program. They would send you to one of those 2 programs. But the thing was, not a lot of people wanted to go there because at least in 850 Brian, you get access to the phone all day because it's a dorm living. And over there in San Bruno, it's cell living. So you only come out for when you go to class. When you're rec time in the afternoon, after 5 o'clock chow, you come out, you get 2 hours of rec time. That's when you're allowed to use the phone. So you don't have that much access to the phone. So a lot of motherfuckers used to like staying in 850, like myself. I love being in 850 because it was freedom. If we beat up with somebody and somebody keep pointing that let us know when the police coming, we got away with it. You know? Well, we shot a guy. Well, for some reason, the first time there was Jim call, Chele decided to stay because when there was a lot of homies then, we used to choose one person to stay back or a paisa to stay back to watch all our properties like our food, our bags and everything because we used to have thieves there and a lot of people that would steal from your shit and some people wouldn't say who the stealing was. Sometimes we could tell who was that stole from us because they didn't have nothing. All of a sudden they have a lot of things and things were missing from us. Then that's when the big issue was. So, but that time, he offered to stay down. He offered for him to stay back and watch our property. So the paisa that we used to stay down, he was like, I want to go to the gym this time. I want to go play soccer. Still play soccer over there. So we went up and we let Chele stay. Which to me seemed kind of weird that he offered himself really fast instead of going up and meeting his homeboys and meeting everybody that was up there. Because there was 2 homies from 11 upstairs. Cuba was there and Sapo was there. So to me, it was kind of weird that this fool stayed back instead of going to talk to his older homeboys, right? But I didn't pay no money on it. So when I got down there, I started talking to the homeboys, and I mentioned to my homeboy, I'm like, hey, fool, there's a new fool that just arrived from 11. He's like, what's his name? Chele. And that fool goes, hey, does he got like a Salvadoran thing on his arm, like the flag thing? I was like, yeah. He's like, hey, fool, that fool's no good. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, that fool's no good, fool. That fool rolled it up out of San Bruno when the homie was going to go at it with the white. That fool rolled it up. I was like, seriously? He's like, yeah, fool. I'm like, does he know that fool got anything coming? He's like, nah, fool, because when he rolled it up, we didn't know he had rolled it up. Because when he landed in the hole, his paperwork didn't say that he was for safety concern. His paperwork said that he was the threat to the facility. Because that was the worst part over there in San Bruno. If classification deem you a threat to the facility or to the staff or anything, they will pull you back and throw you in the hole on some weird ass shit. but they had marked him down, classification marked him down as a threat to the facility because they knew he was gonna have to show his paperwork in the hole to a lot of the homies that were in the hole, and there was a bunch of us in the hole. But they deemed as that. They didn't put him as a roll up because he gave up a lot of information. And the reason why the homies find out that he had rolled it up was because the homies just had hit a good amount of dope. And when he rolled it up after that issue with the whites, which was over drugs, that fool gave certain cells to who had the dope, and the laundry dude they used to do is the favor and pass the dope from one floor to another floor. So once the white boy that used to do is that favor pass guys and dope from one floor to another floor, because when you do laundry, they usually do all lower tier blocks over there in San Bruno. It used to be 1 through 4, and then in the top used to be 5 to 8, right? A and B section, both dorms, but they used to have a sign. So let's say on Monday they pick up and they deliver clothes. They do a tissue exchange on Monday in the bottom, and then on Wednesday on the top they will do tissue exchange. So you can send something with the laundry workers and it will get to the couple days later. But we already know what to expect. Phone calls, of course. So when they came and snatched up the laundry worker, that's when the laundry worker find out they was that fool that had told him, because his dumbass went to apologize to the one locker. Hey, for my bad, I didn't thought they were gonna roll you, la la la. So he basically threw himself for the bass like a straight dumbass. But he probably thought that he was never gonna get back to the homies. Well, it did. So when we got there, they tell me, hey, that fool got to go, fool. That fool's no good. That fool rolled it up. So he was already deemed by the program no good because he rolled it up. You're a piece of shit. And this, I don't mean no disrespect when I say piece of shit or PC or nothing. He rolled it up. People done that in prison. Like I said, I don't to each everybody their own. But at that point in my mind, that's the way I used to think. So I come down, and as I'm walking, I pulled the 2 dudes from 11th Street, through from the other four. I was like, hey, fool, your homie's no good. You guys want to take care of that? ¿Qué ondas? Well, Trucho was like, yeah, fool, don't trip. I'll go with you. Because I was like, I'm going to go myself. I'm like, they were like, my homeboys didn't want me to go because I had the facility. They both tanks, tank 3 and tank 5. I had them running smooth because I was in charge of both tanks. Even though I wasn't in tank 5, I had assigned somebody over there. And the reason why they had gave me the whole basically tier was because I was kept to a lot of stuff. I knew how to politic because I've been around a lot of people, and I learned quick. So the homies that gave me the whole tier, instead of just giving me the tank, they gave me both tanks, the whole tier basically. So, and I had assigned the homie from 16, tank 5 that was there. So when I came down, I told the homies, I'm going to go because I was always told, you lead by example. Don't send nobody to do a job if you're not willing to do it yourself. So I was like, I'm going to go. But I asked the dude from 11, like, if you want to go with me, you're welcome to. He's like, yeah. Trucha signs himself up, right? Then my homie, I goes, hey, fool, I don't want to stay here with this fool, dog. Let me go with you. I was like, fool, we can 3-on-1 this fool. Fuck it. He's like, all right, let's do it. So when we come to the tank, we're like, look, this is how we're going to do it. We have planned it out. We planned it out all the way in the gym. So when we got to the dorm, there was going to be no fishing. So the first thing I told them was, we're going to act like we don't know nothing when we get down there. We're going to ask them if anybody rolled up. The same thing. If anybody pulled up, how it was. If anybody giving any headaches, that's it. We take our showers. We do what we do. And after chow time, after they collect the trays, then we do what we have to do. They're like, mind you, this is the thing. On Wednesday, we used to get a store. Every Wednesday, we used to get a store. So when we got down there, I told them we're going to get all our store. After store, we could do whatever we want. And he had told us he was going to go to the store. So we're like, we're going to roll this fool out of here. We're going to get on him. Then we're going to make sure the homie send his store. We're going to take his store. We're going to leave him with nothing. That fool's done. So, and yeah, it might sound messed up. And the way I look at it, I was stealing for him. So now I can see it. But like I said, back then when I was living the life, I didn't really care. To us, he was no good. The program deemed him no good. And that was it. We didn't know the reason why he rolled it up and he didn't want to fight. We didn't care. We didn't ask those questions. That's just the way it was. So as we get down there, we all act like normal. We chop it up with him. We play card with him, everything. I take a shower. Then after dinner, store start running. Lucky for us, which was a beautiful thing, because when they start doing store, they would run a store 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way around the tank. So they always start in tank 1 and then tank 3. And then they will go tank 2 to tank 5. So they will go back and forward. So they will skip. So they will start tank 1, and then the other lady will go to tank 3, and the other person will go to tank 2, the other one will go to tank 4. So they will, because they have on that side, they have more tanks than our side. So we're like, fuck it. So we got our store. He had a good little $75 bag, which back then used to be a lot, because the soups used to be like 69 cents and the chips used to be 59 cents. So, and he had bought a lot of bag of coffee. So for us, it was good. So as chow come around, they take the trays out. I went and gave the blacks a heads up that if they see us moving towards the shower area, which is all the way in the back by the TV, for them to move back, because we didn't want that fool running or taking off or doing some crazy stuff or yelling. So we gave them a heads up. It was just out of courtesy. We do the same with the whites. So when we got the store, they finished running store through all the block, the whole tier. By that time, it's already 7 something. And we know that around 9, they shut out their phones, their phone call. So I go and make a phone call real quick. And I just told my girl, hey, I'll see you in a couple of days. See you in 30 days. And she's like, what's going to happen? I'm like, I'll see you in 30 days. She goes, here you go again with your bush. You know, usually thing. I didn't really care for it. I was just like, it is what it is. So as we get ready to do that, I called the homie Chella to the back. I'm like, fool, let me talk to you. I could tell like he's kind of suspicious when I call him to the back, because he's aware that sometimes that back is what we use it for. But he kind of let his girl down when I put my arm around him, and I was like, hey, fool, how come you didn't became from the hood? How you saw me, fool? So I'm hitting him with that, because I know that's going to throw him off or everything he's thinking, because he's not going to think that, oh, I'm worth more than I deserve being for 11, because now I do for the message asking me why I didn't jump to the hood. So in his mind, that's what he was thinking. So as I move into the back, I already had a homie taking a piss by the pissers, and then I had another homie on the other side of the table, because they had long ass tables, metal tables like on the county jail. I had another homie to the other side ready. So I had the homie I here, and I had the homie Trucha taking a piss, acting like he was taking a piss, and I was not taking to the back. So as we walked to the back, I leaned against the wall, put my ankle like my feet against the wall, like in a little forward type of style, because I was gonna push off with my feet and try to knock him out. That was my thing. I'm like, I gotta hit him as hard as I can, so when the homie Trucha comes out of the bag, he can catch him with a good one. So as I'm talking to him, I see him, and Trucha moves right to the side of him. That's my cue. So I take off on him. Beep! Hit him right on the chin. I caught him between the nose and the chin. Like I said, I try to hit him as hard as I can, and I had like a domino. He didn't notice when I put the domino on my hand, so I had like a domino here. Because I heard if you put something on your hand that's metal or something a little heavy, you can, if you hit somebody with your hand on a fist like that, you can do damage. So I put the domino on my hand, and when I cracked him, he stumbled. I didn't drop him, but he stumbled. Then the homie, he was on his way down, caught him with a big ass kick right to his side. That fool just like, ooh. Then the homie Trucha jumped over the little pisser thing and just crack him. Beep. He drops. We didn't give him no chance to drop, so we start jumping on him. We start kicking him. We start beating his ass. And it's loud because you can hear the stumping, the moving around. You can hear that. We're in tank 3. Which is a good spot to be, because if you do that in tank 5, the police office is right next to. They can come to the door and look. They can see. But we pay attention because they used to walk back and forward. So when the tier was clear, we heard clear tier by the homies that was keeping punto. They were keeping point in 5 block, and then we had got one of the northerners in tank, I believe was tank 1, to keep point for us down there, because they were the closest one to down, going to where the other tanks were, where the asset tanks were going down, because both of the police can come this way. So there was a lot of people playing dominoes. There was a lot of noise being done, and usually that's the way it is when it's store day. People's passing food up left and right through the tanks, and a lot of movement is not being done by the police unless they're going and open up a cage to let the store in. So once we start getting on him, we it's being loud. I mean, I'm telling you, it's being loud. He's puffing, he's crying. He's like, hey, come on. He's asking why we're beating up on him. Like, he on his mind, he really like, hey, ¿qué onda? No, ¿por qué? Why? What's up? For what the? So we jumping on him. I got tired of stomping and kicking it, so I came down, like getting like in a sitting position. I would just start popping around his feet. Once I started seeing a bunch of blood coming on his nose, like, I kind of worried me at first because you could get charged with those crimes. You could get hit with assault and battery or anything. I didn't notice that the homie I went and took out the little plastic tube that you used to use to hang the curtain for the shower. He grabbed that thing and he was just hitting her in the back, all over his back, the legs, the arms, and the head. And we didn't realize it. We didn't hear the caminando, the walking. We didn't hear that. So I guess when the police got close to like tank 4 and K tank, he heard the commotion. So he run and he kept looking at that. And the Norteño tank 1 goes caminando back, go backside. And I was like, what the hell? I heard the caminando, but I was like, man, we're gonna go to the hole, might as well make it worth it. I don't know what came over me. I can tell you what came over me, guys, because I'm not glorifying the violence, but I just remember grabbing and stepping on top of this chair, because like I said, the table were long and there's like a little chair we can see. I remember jumping on top of the stair and letting myself go the step and landing right on his ribs. I did that about 3 times. I would jump in the stair and I landed, and I did that about 3 times. And that's when he moved me to the side and I almost elbowed him. He was like, bro, you're gonna kill this fool. And that's when I see that he wasn't moving at all. Like, we had knocked him out. He had leaking. So by the time the officer got in front of us, he pulled me out to the because the prisoners had like a little metal thing where people couldn't see, like if you're using the restroom, there was like a privacy thing. So he pulled me there and he set me down in the toilet, and he acted like he was washing his hands. He was taking off the blood, and dude was laid out there, and the homie that kept punching him actually was Trucho. He stayed on him. I got moved by homie I, and then the homie I moved me to behind the toilet thing, and the homie Trucho kept stayed on him. He stayed punching him in the back of his head. And so the officer was like, hey, what the hell are you doing? Get down, stop. So he started yelling, stop. He stopped pulling out his mace. He started shaking it. And we just saw the homie Fuya estuvo. That's it. So he stops. The Hura comes in. He looks over by the pistol where I'm at. I act like I'm taking the shit. I threw up hands down and everything. The homie's washing his hands. And he cuffs Trucho. He calls in the radio. And he goes, after he cuffs Trucho, he tell him to sit down on a chair right outside by the other table, because like I said, it's 2 tables, a big ass post, concrete post in the middle of it, and then he made it sit down. He calls, and then he calls the nurse. And I'm not gonna lie, I got I got a little bit worried, because when I see that he wasn't moving, because he starts shaking him, and then he goes, what do you do to this dude, man? What the hell, man? So he calls the 2 nurses come in, and he still wasn't waking. They put like an alcohol thing on his nose to try to wake him back, and he was still not coming back, man. So they called for the stretcher. So when the stretcher came in, by that time we already have sergeants, lieutenants, and everybody, and they told us not to move from the shitters. And he cleaned himself, and he goes, here, come here, man, what you doing there? He's like, I was taking a piss when dude told me not to move. He's like, what you doing? I'm still taking a shit. But mind you, my shoes got blood on it. My pants got a little blood on this part, and my hands were a little bit swollen and had red stains all over. So when the lieutenant comes in there, and we got the worst lieutenant too, man. I'm not gonna lie, we got Lieutenant Rodriguez. He used to be a dick. He comes in and he goes, you stand up, let me see your hands. I'm like, for what? I'm taking a shit. He's like, you're not using the bathroom. He's like, get up. I'm like, I'm not getting up. I'm taking a shit. You're gonna have to wait. So he's like, if you don't get up, I'm gonna mace you. I'm like, you mace me, bro. I'm taking off on you. He goes, what? I'm like, you heard me what the fuck I said. The sergeant is there, Sergeant Mendoza. He's a little cool dude. Salvador, he goes, let him finish using the bathroom. He's not going nowhere anyways. Let him use the bathroom, then we can cuff him up and check him. He's like, all right. They cuff up the homie I. They see he got red marks and his shirt's a little bloody. They cuff me up. They take us outside to the big old, all the way down to the dorm. They put us in a big old tank where they do the intake when people's coming in. and the leave was there for a little bit. So the homie that stayed back from 16, he knew that he was gonna pack our stuff, and we told him, "Hey, fool, divide this food between all of us. Just all I want is another bag of coffee, bro. You could just put another bag of coffee. I don't really want food. Just put another bag of coffee in that food. Don't let him take nothing. Or if you want to leave a little something for that food, that's up to you, but don't let him nothing." We had already established that we were gonna take all his shit anyway. So when we get down there, all three of us are in the same holding tank. And I asked Trucha, say, "Fool, why you kept punching in that food?" He's like, "Fuck that fool, dog. That fool make my neighborhood look bad. He made my neighborhood look like a bunch of bitches. I'm cool with that fool." I'm like, I respect. I couldn't knock him for it. I respect him. Sorry, guys, but I couldn't see the sun is kind of bleeding, so I apologize for that. Like I said, I'm in the car. But what worried me was when we were there waiting for like a whole hour, they came and dropped off our property, telling us we're going to the hole. And Duke goes like, "Hey man, he's not waking up. You guys probably did some brain damage. If that's the case, we're gonna hit you guys with attempt to murder." I'm like, I don't care. I was already looking at a murder charge, so I didn't really give a shit about the rest of it. But then the homies had a date, so I told them, "Hey fool, this fool doesn't wake up, but this fool that does goes down the way it is, tell them I was the one that hit him with the tool or something, or I hit him with the domino saga or everything. I was the one that did most of the damage. You guys just help me out. That's it, fool. I take the case." They're like, "Nah, fool, not gonna." Like, "Fool, you fools got a date. One of them was going home in a month. The other fool was fighting his case, but the months he could have gotten was 16 months. It's not that bad." I didn't want to throw somebody's life away, but I was willing to throw my life away. That's how the gang mentality thinks, and that's the worst part of it. And the reason why I'm doing this video about my first removal is to go to show you guys, and the message behind it is that your mind starts to develop in a sense once you're locked up. Your mind starts to develop in a sense that it basically tells you, if you're locked up, you start to get used to about being locked up. Your mind start working like, I don't got nothing to look forward for. I ain't got nothing left to do. I got this murder beef I'm beefing. If they don't give me for that, I'll know at least I'm getting 10 years of gang enhancements for the gang tattoos and all that stuff. But I'm not going home no time soon. So your mind start to develop. I didn't got nothing to lose. And at that moment, that's how I was thinking. I didn't got nothing to lose. I don't got nobody waiting for me. People's gonna leave me anyways within the next 5 years in. Plus, I'm already in here. So what the fuck is the worst they can do? Give me another more 10 years? Fuck it, is what it is. Because I understand when we jump into the game, we get this stupid idea that going to prison is where you have made it now. You get that respect from the homies. You get that self-respect. You've been to prison. You became somebody. You did some work for. It's always the mentality that a lot of people are pushing into this kid, bro. You gotta do this because if you go to the pen, when you come home, we got you, bro. We're gonna be straight up here. They never tell you that when you go to prison, there's two things that can happen. You're gonna lose loved ones, and you're not gonna get a time to say goodbye, or you can lose yourself and it doesn't matter how much work you put in. Sometimes one sleep up can cost you your life as well. And the reason why I'm doing this video is not to glorify the violence that I did for that kid, because I felt for that kid. Luckily, nothing happened to him. We cracked 6 of his ribs. We did crack his bone cheek right here, and then we did broke his jaw. We did some damage on his skull, but it wasn't bad. We did hurt him bad. We got us all with great bad injury. That was the case that I got. But it goes to show that my mentality at that point was, I don't care if I live or die. And you can put as much work as you can, and you can show these people that you're ruthless and everything, but one mistake, and they can choose to say, we don't want him no more. Just like I was thinking about him, he's a garbage, he doesn't deserve to be here. That's how they look at you once you messed up. Or once you don't give them the much money, because now the prison system has changed. Now what you've done is, what can you do for me? How much money can you bring into my organization? How much money can you make me? How much of this can you do for me? It's not about cleaning up house if there's a pedophile or crime. There a lot of people dropping out and then paying their way back in. And sometimes they just take the money and they still stabbing. That's not the life you want to go through, man. And believe me, I didn't sleep for 2 days thinking about it. What about if we would have killed that kid? He was just 18 years old, not older than myself. I was 19, but it still didn't matter. But that goes to show you that once you're in the system corrupt your mind to think that this is all I got to show for. That's not true, man. Listen to me, young kids. You guys got a whole bunch of life out there to live for. You guys can make money doing anything, literally anything, other than selling drugs. Don't go into the game banging, choosing life, and throw it away for a respect from your peers. If they care for you, they love you, they're gonna respect you no matter what, man. I learned that the hard way. I spent 15 years of my life. I came home and had barely just the money that I had made on my own to show for. And I still can go and tell one of my young homies, hey, fool, stop doing that. Because the first thing they're going to be like, man, fool, who the hell you think you are to tell me what to do? These kids don't respect. They don't understand none of that stuff, man. So that's a lie in itself, that the homies, when you come home, they don't respect you. They don't have nothing waiting for you. Because they didn't for me. And I did 15 years for the hood. I stand tall all the way to the last day until parole. And what do I got to show for? Nothing. I got to show for what I have been working for so hard, and I'm still working for it to get my day. With that being said, man, think smart. And like I always tell you guys, tell your loved ones that you love them, because tomorrow's never promised. Be kind to one another. Let's get it, mi gente.